Welcome back to the Marketing Your Local Business Online podcast. I'm your host, Sydney Chakalos, founder of Marathon Marketing and Branding, and you are in the right place if you're a local business owner or you help to market one, and you simply want your marketing to feel easier without sacrificing growth. And it's funny, I actually had a different topic picked out for this week's episode, and I shifted it when I failed to have my usual Tuesday episode ready to go for you all this week. So you see, I've been getting back into this podcast over the last 10 weeks after being on a hiatus for a couple of years. And I've been super good about having an episode ready to go every Tuesday for you all. But this week, I just failed. I was coming back from travel, catching up on client work, starting a major new project for a client, all exciting things. And recording an episode just got put on the back burner. But it got me thinking this week about the topic of consistency and how easy it is to lose your momentum of being consistent, even after being so good with it. So, of course, I started to think more about how this could apply for my listeners. And the more I thought about consistency, the more I thought about how it's really the foundation for everything, not only in your marketing, but also in your business. In fact, if you asked me to analyze your marketing efforts over the last quarter and predict how successful your marketing efforts are going to be in the year ahead, I believe that looking at the single factor of consistency will tell me how successful and effective your marketing will be. It sounds so simple, just be consistent. But being consistent is one of the biggest challenges with marketing. And I know it's one of the biggest challenges that small business owners face. In fact, that's why I get most of my clients, because they realize how hard it is to stay consistent. My clients, they're all very intelligent, they are capable, but they either don't have the time or they do not want to learn and they just want to focus on what they love in their business. So the reality of today's world, though, is that if your business is not consistently being seen by people, it will be forgotten. So if you struggle with consistency in your marketing, welcome to every other business owner's dilemma. I do not want you to feel bad about yourself or feel bad that you struggle with it. Even as a marketer, one of my biggest struggles is staying consistent with my own marketing. It is easy for me to create content for my clients all day long and keep them consistent, but it is a whole other beast when it comes to my own business. And I'm sure there are some of you out there that are shaking your head because you understand. And I used to think it was just me, and I felt so much shame around it. And this past weekend, I felt so much better because I traveled down to Florida for a business retreat, and there's a group of other social media marketing agency owners, and we get together now every year. And we were having a conversation, I remember, on when we all first arrived on Thursday, about how our own business's content just always gets pushed to the wayside because we're so busy serving our clients. And it's that same analogy for you. You may not work in marketing, but you're doing the things that are necessary to keep your business running and serving your clients first. And I think that's why it is so hard. So why do I say that consistency is the single factor that will allow me to determine the success of your marketing? There's a few things. The first and most obvious is that if you are not doing your marketing in the first place, it's not going to be successful. The second is that you could be an incredible marketer, and maybe you're really good at creating content or video, and it could look on point every time you're posting something or sending that email. But if you're only posting once a quarter or once a month, or maybe someone goes to your social page and they don't even know if your business is still open, or you're never emailing your list, it's not going to be effective and move the needle, even if it looks good. And the third and maybe less obvious reason is that I believe being consistent is going to make you a better marketer. A lot of you probably don't know this, but I grew up doing ballet for 13 years, and I promise this story correlates and has a point. And if you were also a dancer, you know that you are usually either considered a turner or a jumper in ballet. And if you're both, you're just very blessed. But I was a turner, and I could land a double pirouette all day long. I could do it on my right leg, I could do it on my left leg. And growing up, I was taking several classes a week and I was doing dance team in high school. And honestly, it was just second nature for me to be able to do it. I didn't get good at turning overnight. Like I had a natural inclination for it, but I still had to work on it and compound on what I was good at. And now I'm not trying to age myself here, but I probably have not done a double pirouette in about 15 years. And I can guarantee that if I were trying to do one right now, I would be wobbly or I would fall out of my form. And I honestly would just be really extremely surprised if I was able to do it successfully. And your marketing is that same concept. You may not be the best marketer right now, or maybe you're feeling a little wobbly, but the more consistently that you do it in practice, you are flexing that muscle and improving. And over time, I guarantee your marketing content is going to continue to get better and better the more you do it. And it's going to feel more like second nature to you. And that's why I don't think that it's just straight about looking at the quality of your content. Like I look at it and I say, oh, this post, maybe not the best, but I really think it's about your habits and your ability to stay consistent, because when you're staying consistent, you're going to continue to flex that marketing muscle and learn. So, how do you build this consistency muscle so that you can see success in your marketing this year? I'm here to tell you there is honestly not a one size fits all solution. I don't think that there's some magical solution that everyone fits in the bucket for. If that were the case, we would have had this magical solution and answer and everyone would be doing it and they'd be consistent and we'd be fine. And I'm saying this from firsthand experience, and my fellow parents, you're going to get like a good chuckle out of this. When I started this business, I did not have kids and I was on top of my marketing game. I would do 2 or 3 live Facebook trainings every week. I would post 4 to 5 times a week on Instagram. I was on my stories every day. I was emailing every other week. I mean, I had like the consistency train going on. I had people being like, Sydney, how are you so consistent? And in my mind, I'm going, well, why can't you be consistent? It's not that hard. And then I remember life hit really hard in early 2021, and it definitely knocked me off my game. And I was able to like get back on the wagon, gave myself a couple months, a little hiatus to recover mentally. And then later that year, I had my son, and my marketing was instantly on the back burner. Life with a newborn is like no joke. And today I have 2 toddlers, and wow, like I feel so dumb for ever thinking to myself, Sydney, why is it so hard for people to be consistent? Like now I totally get it. And coming from experience, I think the failure to be consistent with our marketing really comes from 2 places. Like the first is time. Sometimes there's just simply not enough hours in the day to get done what you need to get done. And it's easy for other things in life and business to take priority over posting to social media or sending that email. And the second, I think, is more internal, and I've experienced this a little bit myself. And I think it's natural for us to go through this type of cycle as entrepreneurs, but maybe it's just hard to get consistent because it's hard to show up, or you don't want to be on camera, or you don't feel like marketing your business, or maybe there's this deeper insecurity going on, or you're telling yourself, what difference will it make if I put that post up? And maybe you're feeling defeated in your business right now, or maybe even in life, and you've had something challenging happen for you. I can fully say I empathize with you. It's a very hard place to be in, and it's a very hard feeling to overcome, especially because usually our return on marketing is not immediate. And it takes time for marketing to work and the consistency to compound and to get people to start to notice us and remember our businesses. And sometimes we like to rely on external validation to tell ourselves that we're being successful. And so when we don't get that right away, it's really hard to continue to show up or to want to do it. And so in the beginning, it's really easy to feel discouraged. And I don't have a perfect solution for you to solve this, but I do have this encouragement just based off of my own personal experience. And that is that self talk matters. And that's where I would start. Having these things or mantras that you're saying to yourself, what I'm sharing matters. My impact and mission of the work I'm doing matters. Each step is getting me one step closer to my goal or positively impacting someone, or someone needs what I have to offer, or someone needs to hear what I have to say today. Whatever that mantra is that you want to repeat, that's going to motivate you to get that ball rolling for you, I want you to start being your own biggest cheerleader, because often in the moments that we feel like throwing in the towel, when we don't give up, something beautiful happens. I fully believe this. There is no such thing as an overnight success. I fully think that consistency and hard work compounded over several years is what results in these overnight successes. And then finally it clicks and they get their moment. It's like they have this moment where they've been consistent, they've been putting that message out there, and finally it just starts to click for people. And it's like the success explodes. And I think that's what it comes from, is being consistent. And so I want you to have your moment. I want you to have that moment in your business where all of a sudden customers coming in, it's consistent. You're not wondering if someone's going to come in and visit your business today. You are booked out with appointments. I want you to see that. And I believe that it starts with consistency. And I think this is the start of the answer to the question of how do I get better at being consistent in my marketing? It starts with you, and it starts with your self-talk and what you're telling yourself about your marketing and your business. So start there and then start making a plan to get consistent, and we can start to talk about some of these nuts and bolts. The first I would say is create a marketing calendar. Side note, I do have a free resource, and that's a content calendar template that you can steal, and I use it with all of my clients, and I will link to it in the show notes of this episode. So if you want that content calendar template, I will link it. It'll be there for you, or you can go to my Instagram and download it there at Marathon Marketing Branding. But start with building a system that's going to work for you and planning ahead. It's a lot harder to drop the ball and forget something when you have a plan in place and you've actually thought ahead about what's to come. Now, is it giving yourself 10 minutes every day to focus on your marketing? Or is it blocking a longer period of time out once a week or once a month? You know the answer of what's going to work best for you and your schedule and how you like to work. So start with what will get the ball rolling. And over time, you can refine your system. You're going to learn what works better for you and what doesn't work for you. And that means, yeah, sometimes you might fall off that consistency wagon, but I want you to get back up. And over time, as you're refining the system, you're going to get better at consistently sharing about your business because you're finding a process that works for you. Now, going back to this falling off the consistency wagon, I want you to get back up and get right back on it. Don't wallow or tell yourself that you failed. I think this is an entrepreneur thing where we have this all or nothing mindset, like I'm either successful or I'm a total failure. And the reality is that success is not linear. I know we've all heard this before, but your ability to bounce back quickly after falling off is what's going to determine your success to maintain being consistent, because it's inevitable that we are human and we're not perfect. And so it's just going to happen. For example, I didn't get this weekly podcast episode out on time, but I'm not going to let that deter me from getting my next episode out and getting back into my regular cadence. And I'm not going to wallow in the fact that my episode didn't come out till Friday, because the reality is at least the episode is coming out. So Sydney from 2 years ago would have been like, I'm a failure. I already messed this up, and I'm 10 episodes deep and now I didn't get my episode out on Tuesday like I want to. And I would just stay mad at myself, but like I'm going to give myself grace and keep pressing on. And I want you to do the same and have that same mentality. And going off of this all or nothing mentality, can you take a look realistically at what you can do and how often you can post or email or text? We would all love to be so good at being consistent right away and posting 4 or 5 times a week, but that's hard to do right out of the gate. And it's easy to set yourself up for disappointment or set yourself up to be burnt out. So ask yourself, starting out, what is the cadence that you know you can stick to initially And then as you are hitting that cadence, you can either continue to maintain it, or my guess is your momentum is going to build and you're going to be able to start to slowly increase it too. And then that consistency is just going to continue to get better as the consistency muscle is built. So this brings me to my next piece of being consistent. Focus on creating the type of marketing content that you love and is true to your brand. If you are trying to force your content to be what everyone else is telling you it should be, or you're trying to force trends, you are going to hate doing your marketing. And we all know that when you hate to do something, you procrastinate doing it. This is literally why I have a bookkeeper, but create the type of content that you enjoy and feels authentic. And it's going to lead to better outcomes and keeping your momentum going. So don't keep sitting around and trying to force the trend or make it happen. You need to just follow your gut and what's working and look at your data and continue to capitalize on that. Kind of shut out that noise. There's a lot of noise out there when it comes up to the marketing world. And lastly, if you really end up going on this journey of trying to be consistent and you're trying really hard and ultimately you find yourself truly just under time constraints, or you really hate marketing, that's okay. I'm not going to be offended. And that's truly what's holding you back from marketing your business consistently and prioritizing it. I highly recommend hiring someone, whether it is a full or part-time employee or contracting it out to an agency like mine. It will be your best investment to invest in someone that will have your business consistently being seen in your community. And I'm not just saying it because I work in marketing. I'm saying it because I have experienced it for myself with my clients. When they have hired me and we got consistent over time and they start to see these little wins come in, it starts to compound. And now my clients that I've had, 4 or 5+ years at this point, they are thriving because they've been consistent for a really long time now. And they don't have to worry where their next business is coming from. They're not stressed out about their calendar getting booked out. And so if you are not able to do the marketing, find someone else who's going to be able to do it. I promise you, it is worth it. So again, this was all I had for you guys this week. If you want that content calendar template, head to marathonmarketingbranding.com/41 and you can download that there. And here is to a consistently good 2026. Until next time, keep running your race.